Today is Monday, August 20th, 2018, and the time is 6:31 p.m. This is the Pleasantville City Council work meeting. This meeting has been duly advertised in the local newspapers in conformance with the Open Public Meeting Act, otherwise known as the Sunshine Law. Roll call, please.
Swan.
Here.
Sisram.
Here.
Staff.
Here.
Harmon.
Here.
Christmas. Allen.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
6 in attendance.
Okay, if everyone had a chance to read them, I'd like to have approval for the previous minute.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay. Agenda items, please.
First on the agenda is Resolution 141, approving submittal of a grant application and executed grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Bikeway Grant Program.
Are there any questions or comments? I'd like to make a comment that I saw the lighting behind the cemetery back there. I don't know if anyone else has seen that or not, but it really makes a big difference. On the bike path behind the cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah. Nissan fix, cardio.
Yeah, on this end, near the John Brooks, yeah. Okay, next please.
Resolution 142, approving the submittal of a grant application and execute a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Safe Streets to Transit Program.
Are there any questions or comments? Okay.
Resolution 143, approving the submittal of a grant application and executed grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Transit Village Grant Program.
Questions or comments? Okay.
Resolution 144, authorizing entry into an amendment to renew and extend an interlocal services agreement with the Pleasantville Board of Education for the provisions of security services for the school district.
Questions?
Just want to comment that they're Class 3 officers at no charge for the city.
Okay.
We don't pay. We pay, then we get reimbursed.
Thank you. Next, please.
Resolution 145, authorizing entry into a memorandum of understanding with the Pleasantville Housing Authority for rental of a unit to provide for community policing services in the city.
Okay, yes.
Can I have my chief? Could you comment on that?
Yes, and if I could on the last resolution, 144, for the Class 3 officers at the school, just briefly so that you know, Pleasantville has actually led the way on this particular front. We've spoken to agencies as far away as North Jersey, asking us how we implemented our program because it's worked so well. So I think that that's something that we as a city can be proud of because we found a way to both cut costs and make our schools safer. So it's something that we're really proud of, and obviously we wouldn't have been able to do without council. 145 is us entering into agreement with the Housing Authority. Executive Director Lawrence and I have been back and forth for a couple of months. As most of you know, City Council has really pushed the police department to stand up a bike unit for Main Street. It was our impression that the best way to make sure that the cops are on Main Street is that their entire workstation is on Main Street. And Councilman Christmas, who is always good at making sure that I'm doing the will of council when we're spending council's money, we've actually set up a command structure so that our community policing officers don't even answer to the same captain as the patrol officers. So you may have a concern that we're just going to pull those cops every time we need them, to go man a traffic post or something, and that is absolutely not the case. They have two entirely separate chains of command that don't come together until Deputy Chief Williams. As envisioned, once we're able to stand it all the way up, and we continue to have issues getting kids through the academy. But as envisioned, it'll run 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, and it'll be based entirely out of the Housing Authority. All of their workspace, all their bicycles, everything will be housed out of that building, and the Housing Authority has been really gracious in giving up that space to us. It's really productive space that they could have used for other things, but I think they spoke to their residents and they spoke to their board, and they realized that we wanted to be there and they wanted us to be there. So some of the other problems that you've had on Main Street, some of the businesses and loitering and that sort of stuff, our officers will be housed 100 yards from where some of those biggest problems are. So we believe that this is a good plan. Lieutenant Stacy Schlachter is heading it up, and she's doing it really with the direct supervision of her captain, but also Deputy Chief Williams. This has become his baby, and we're very proud of it, and we're really confident that we'll have a really robust force ready for next summer, and we'll be standing that up as we move forward. We've already gotten sort of 2.5 officers, because one of them is still completing the academies that are assigned to the unit. So you will see them out there periodically, but they're still kind of in the process of moving into that building and those sort of things. This obviously will give us a good way forward. And the last thing that I would say is there is no cost to the city for this agreement. We pay $0. We got a lease that says 0 on it. I'd like one of those leases myself. But it's been a really good relationship between the Housing Authority and us, and we appreciate your support as well.
Can you also explain about the bus stations and sergeants working out of there?
Yeah, so the bus station, Pleasantville Police Patrol Sergeants, who, as you probably know, they command the street. So there's a sergeant who's in charge of every marked police car in the city at all times. That sergeant's office is the back half of the bus station. Their entire work terminal is there. They literally don't have workspace inside the police department. So all of their reports that they review, everything that they do, we were trying to find a hybrid model where we put people at the bus station without pulling away from our street resources to staff that on a constant basis. But by doing it this way, there's a sergeant or an officer in charge using that office every single day. You know, Christmas and New Year's, they're always there. But at the same time, they are out on the street doing their job as well. So we're trying to find the balance where we're not having to bring on a bunch of police officers unnecessarily, but also have a significantly increased presence there. We're getting there. That bus station is a tough nut to crack, but we do believe that we're making progress, and we also believe that this community policing unit will have a real impact. Just the mere presence of those cops on bikes, I think, is going to help.
Now, is the bus station, is it still, what's the hours of the bus station being open? Is it open now?
It is open. They close it. I don't want to give specifics and be wrong, because they go back and forth with Captain Hartman to find the sort of sweet spot where we've allowed all of our commuters to leave, but not allowed the knuckleheads to stay overnight. So they do close it at night, but when it's there, the bathrooms are always open. That was a problem that we've had. And as I said, we continue to work forward on that issue. In the summertime, it's particularly bad as far as people hanging out there. As the weather gets colder, we'll probably extend the hours, because we also use it as an informal warming station, so people can come in and get warm out of the elements.
Chief, you said that at the high-rise, mid-rise,
Yes.
that's going to be in operation next summer?
Well, no. With this agreement, Deputy Chief Williams and Lieutenant Schlachter, for those of you who know them, would not allow me to drag my feet on this even a moment. So he's already ordered the furniture. So if you're not going to pass this, he's already ordered the furniture. I believe we take delivery in a couple of days. So we expect to be into that office very soon. It's just that we can only staff so many hours until we're able to staff all those roster slots for the unit. So that'll affect how many hours they're there. But they take up residency as quickly as we can make it happen. 2 or 3 weeks probably until we're fully moved in.
Okay, and that'll give the seniors another sense of security over there. That's good.
I hear they're very happy about it. And part of the agreement is that they'll walk those buildings 3 times a day. So we're pretty excited about it.
Thank you. Any questions?
Madam President, Saturday, we had the exhibits at the rec center, and got to spend a lot of time down there. And that's where I got the fans from. But I guess officers,
The healthcare.
the healthcare, Officer Henderson and Captain, what's their last name?
House.
I was really impressed when I saw our policemen. You talk about community involvement. They had tables, and they were really networking with the community. I said, that is such a great thing. I had a great time. I apologize for the tables that I didn't get to, because beside of the policeman, there was, I don't know what you call him, but Brown, firefighter Brown, whatever, had a table. And how the citizens, the taxpayers, and our children were reacting, meeting the firemen and the questions they asked. So I said to Captain House, I think I said, if you show up at the council meeting, I'm going to talk about you. So he's here, and I commend you guys, and I told him to tell the chief. So the chief is here. They're out there, and again, the 16th and 17th accident, our officers were right there on the spot. We know the famous corner, Tunis and Chester. And Captain Ballas, I think. We got to converse there. And he quoted you, Chief, that we may have to make something one way. But that's a hot spot in our city. I ride through the city, but it's a hot spot. Again, I did say at one of the meetings, Judy, I think some of you were there, that the time's going to come that Shore Road is going to be impacted with traffic getting into Atlantic City with the casino impact as we know, and that they do not stop when they come to Franklin at the old high school entries. It's getting better. And again, I was elated. Our officers are writing tickets, there's no question about it. So I commend the men and to the leadership of you, Chief. I don't have a raise for you, but I have to tell it like it is. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate that. Captain Ballas has really driven traffic enforcement quite a good way since he's gotten here.
Yes.
And has actually gotten us over $40,000 in additional money to put cops on the street for longer, specifically to do traffic enforcement. For a city our size to have 900 to 1,000 crashes a year it's just off the chart. But unfortunately, we're a little tiny town with a whole lot of big roads that come right through the middle of it. But Captain Ballas has been really good about finding ways to impact that, and we definitely appreciate it.
Okay. All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay,
Next is the bill.
Good evening. Good evening. Well, the weather's so nice out. A couple of bills that we want to go over. The bills to be paid on the first page, the fifth one down, it says Ben Schaefer Recreation. They are the replacement for the blue flower pots that were on South Main Street. We have received a dozen of those pots that City Council approved. I don't know if they've been out yet. I know they were delivered to Public Works. I think they're getting involved with the green team in order to get plants in and everything else. So that is the versus Ben Schaefer Recreation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one down for $6,200.
These are replacement pots, right? For the ones
Yeah,
that-
the blue one that looked like
So we have to pay for them again?
that we had to pay for it. Because the other ones were already paid for. But we took them back and we're going to use them somewhere else.
But they gave us what we didn't really want the first time.
That's exactly what was in the specs. It's exactly what the plans called for. Marandino bought exactly what the engineer called for. And I didn't like them. They looked like recycling buckets. In order, we had to replace those. We've taken them back into Public Works and we'll use them elsewhere for whatever we need. On page 4, fourth from the bottom, it says Pleasantville Board of Education. On your bill list, it says $1,313,000, and that's been changed. We have, last Thursday, the school came to me and says, the number they give me were wrong. I was looking at $780,000. They said, no, it's $1,003,000. As of this morning, they saw that I was right, and we're not paying them $1,003,000 this time. We're paying them $787,000. I just said it was unconscionable. One I had back in May that had to spread out in the form that they wanted me to pay come August, and then on Thursday they said, oh no, it's the wrong number. So that's been taken care of. Between last council meeting and this council meeting, we have paid some bills. On the bottom of page 1 of check register by check date, Charles Marandino, 4 California Avenue, $112,000. And if you look at the two above there are 2 Marandinos that were voided. I was training our new accounts payable young lady, and I had a brain cramp a couple times and completely screwed up the checks. So we were able to run them correctly.
You distributed a bill list for August 1.
August 1st.
Sorry?
Yeah, I wasn't following you on that.
Yeah, the bill is,
August
it
1st.
says
I
August
give you the last
1st
one?
one, and it says August the 16th.
I give you the wrong bill list?
I guess you did.
Okay. Well, that's why you won't see them. But anyway, and then the other bills that we did pay, that eventually we will get you a list, a real good list. The ones that were emailed, that was the correct list. Ms. King Ali mentioned to me that I had not distributed them, and I printed out the wrong list when we distributed them today. So the ones that were emailed are there. We will get you a good list. Other than that, we also paid some debt service last time, I should say, within a few days ago. Part of it was part of the band that we came in. We asked for $1.2 million in band. We had to refinance the prior $3.4 million. So that came in and went back out again. But the money that came in for the band when it was shifted over to our general capital plan for for police cars. We're looking at rehabbing the police station to make it compliant with the state rules and regulations. And I feel like I apologize for giving the wrong list and getting out to you, but you will get the correct one. Good. Now that I confused you all, any questions?
Those blue buckets, or whatever they call it, can you put those things on GovDoc, something, and sell them?
That's possible.
We have no use for those things.
I know, right now we don't know. But again, the contract, we're not taking back. They were exactly the specification called for by the engineer.
Give them to the engineer.
If it was the engineer, no, it's arterial, we no longer deal with that, it's over with. And actually, based on the work the arterial did, what we paid them was a steal. They bid on it, and there were a lot more hours put into this thing because dealing with DOT and dealing with NJEDA, many more hours than the contract called for. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Questions? No, thank you. Okay, at this time we'll have public portion. Anyone from the public that wishes to speak, please come forward and state your name, your address, and your concern. Seeing none, I'd like to have a motion to close the public.
I'd make a motion of point of information. Could we yield to Chief if you have something? So you have something for,
I do. You want to do it now?
so you can go home.
I am. I actually haven't sorted them yet, Councilman, so if I can have a few minutes, I'll get them ready.
Okay, so we'll have an open discussion with council. If there's anything anyone would like to share, or Mayor? No one? Okay. I've been seeing none. I'd like to have a motion to close the work session.
Second.
All in favor? Chief Riggin, do you need a couple of minutes to do what you want to do so you can go home?
I just want to give you folks your shirts, that's all. That's all I want to do.
Okay.
Can I do it now?
Yeah,
It's up to you.
you can do it,
All right,
yeah.
all right.
And then you can, yeah.
They get any hats?
I do not have any hats, sir. Are they clean? Well, they all except the one I'm going to give you, Councilman, because I'm not on the floor. All right. This one I know.
Why are you taking
I got my special Councilman Scott one.
And Lucky Dog did all the shirts and everything?
She did, yeah, I mean, we paid for it. Us in coordination with SST, you know, they've been great about spending money. We let them know that they had to feed everybody at the community meeting on September 10th. Just because I was raised right, man.
Thank you. These are nice. Oh, nice.
Councilman?
Skin it away. Swans need triple X.
No. And if he does, he's out of luck, because I don't have it.
Be nice.
That's nice with the middle.
What's on the back? Oh, these.
Take that. Fish. Fish.
That's number one. Can you show the camera what you,
I will.
that's that.
That's what we need. We definitely need it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Won't tell, just tell me which one. Smaller?
Yeah, small.
I'm saying, is that one, you want that one or you want the next one? I know.
This is pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Wow.
Councilman Scott, would you hold up your shirt, please,
I
sir?
ask him.
What?
Can you hold up your shirt so I can see?
They parked up the wrong,
They
they
parked
come
up
that way.
So, September 10th, we're going to have our first community forum at the Pleasantville Middle School. I
Do
hope
you
that all.
need to be on, you need us to be on?
That's up to you, ma'am. I don't
Okay, 'cause
know.
it's-
Y'all are good at this stuff, not me.
Okay.
I'm the knuckle dragger.
Okay.
That's good.
So
I just want everybody to see.
What were you saying?
You're a lovely model, sir. But
Would you like me to put it on?
if you like. But September 10th is our first thing. We'll be here, we'll have SST here for you folks on October 15th. But we'd like you to come, and we'd like you to wear the shirts if you will. It just says that Pleasantville's, supports
Date
ShotSpotter.
Date again?
September 10th. September 10th, and then October 15th, there'll be your regular meeting.
Okay.
It'll be all of our, like the president of SST is coming. They're really excited about this. Again, Pleasantville leading the way. SST is in, I think, 90 cities now. None of them have ever taken the cost to the voters before the way that we are. They think that that was really impressive, to handle the issue that way, because it is a major cost. They were really impressed, and they've been really on board. Again, I think this will be a model by the time we're done. I think this will be a model that goes forward for other customers of SST to say, we're going to take it to the voters and see if they want it, and explain it to them what it really is. So we'll be doing all the radio and all that stuff. We have lawn signs that say vote yes for ShotSpotter. We really want people to vote yes, but really we want them to know what the program is. So hopefully we'll drum up enough interest. So if they're against it, we know why they're against it. And if they're for it, then they're strongly for it. Obviously all of our officers, and I know all of you are in favor of it, but I think for the kind of cost that we're talking about, it's been made very clear to me by my boss, that we need to have that conversation with the voters. So it's not my place, but I commend council for doing it that way, because I think it brings everybody on board and really invests them in the program, and it's something that I think will really help us.
What time at the middle school?
Let's say 6 o'clock, and I'll reserve the right to say 5 o'clock later, because I don't have it in front of me, council.
Okay, so I'll leave it.
But if you listen to any radio station after this Saturday, and you don't know within 10 minutes, then we're not doing our job, because we're going to be everywhere.
What were you saying?
No, I didn't know, what time.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I feel like I'm taking up enough of your time.
Everything's good. Good time.
Thank you.
Okay.
5 and 6.
You guys ready? Good evening. This is the Pleasantville City Council meeting. Today is Monday, August 20th, 2018. The time is 6:53 p.m. This meeting has been advertised in the local newspapers in conformance with the Open Public Meeting Act, otherwise known as the Sunshine Law. Will you please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the flag salute? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Roll call, please.
Swan.
Here.
Sistrum.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Harmon. Christmas. Allen.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
6 in attendance.
Okay. I'd like to have a motion to dispense with the readings of the previous minutes.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Any nays or abstentions? Okay. Mayor, do you have anything this evening?
No, Madam President.
Okay. Thank you. Davina?
Okay, first agenda, resolution 141, approving the submittal of a grant application and execute a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Bikeway Grant Program.
Necessary motion.
Second.
Swan.
Yes.
Sistrum. Scott.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Resolution approved. Resolution 142, approving the submittal of a grant application and execute a grant agreement for the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Safe Streets to Transit Program.
Motion.
Second?
Sistrum.
Yes.
Scott. I'm
Yes.
sorry, Swan.
Yes.
Sistrum.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Resolution approved. Resolution 143, approving submittal of a grant application and execute a grant agreement with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the Transit Village Grant Program.
Motion.
Second.
Swan.
Yes.
Sistrum.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Resolution approved. Resolution 144, authorizing entry into an amendment to renew and extend an interlocal services agreement with the Pleasantville Board of Education for the provisions of security services for the school district.
Motion.
Second.
Swan.
Yes.
Sistrum.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Resolution approved. Resolution 145, authorizing entry into a memorandum of understanding with the Pleasantville Housing Authority for rental of a unit to provide for community policing services in the city.
Necessary motion.
Second.
Swan.
Yes.
Sistrum.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Resolution approved. I need a motion to pay for bills.
So moved.
Second.
Swan.
Yes.
Sistrum.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Ward.
I abstain. I can't in good faith vote for this with the planners. I'm not in agreement with that.
So noted. Motion approved. I need a motion for bingo.
So moved.
Second?
Swan.
Yes.
Sistrum.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Harmon.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Motion approved. Next is public portion.
Anyone from the public that wishes to speak, please come forward, state your name, your address, and your concern. Okay, seeing none, I'd like to have a motion to close the
Motion
public
closed.
portion. Okay. All those in favor? Okay. Public portion is now closed, and we'll have comments from mayor and council. Mayor, is there anything you'd like to share?
Yes, two things. I want to remind everyone that tomorrow we have our community walk. Chief, did you want to give details on it? I'm sure you.
The community walk will take place tomorrow evening. We're going to start at about 5:30 or 5:40 at the Ralph Peterson Building on Woodland. We'll take a community walk similar to what you've seen in Atlantic City and Egg Harbor, and I know some of you folks were able to make it to the last one. We'll take it around that neighborhood this time. We'll come back in coordination with the Coalition for Safe Community and Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office. We have a food truck, we have pizza, I think we have pretzels, popcorn, and then we'll have a showing of Black Panther in the park. We're looking to start the movie as early as we can, as long as it gets dark, so we're thinking sometime between 7:45 and 8:15. And then the trucks will stay, the food truck and the pizza will stay until it runs out, and then we'll thank everybody for coming and head off to home. If you have not seen the movie, it's a good movie. If you have seen the movie, come for the walk.
Chief, where are we going to walk, Jan? We're starting at Ralph Peterson Center. We're going where?
We're going to go, I believe, up. We went back and forth, but The route is 4th Street to Adams, Adams back down to Marion, to Adams to Linden, Linden to Marion, and then back up and then back in the park.
Okay,
So probably, 10 or 12 blocks by the time everything's said and done, maybe a little less than that.
okay. Thank you. Any questions? Good.
And one other thing, I'm trying to strive for a more aggressive approach to property maintenance, I mean, things are really getting out of hand, and I purposely went by several businesses and tried to introduce myself to some of the managers and let them know I was very upset and frustrated. It's not acceptable the way they've been maintaining their properties. So with your blessings, Councilman Scott, with the public service, I'd like to have a meeting, a public service meeting.
I think you have one coming up on the, yeah,
The 12th, when?
it's next week, I think. it is.
Next Tuesday.
But I will not be there.
Okay,
I asked him to get I think Christmas to charity.
okay.
Mayor, it's the 28th.
28th?
It's the 28th, yeah.
Okay.
No, they moved it.
Then they
It's
will.
not on the 28th. It's because of, what she told me, somebody wasn't gonna be here, was on vacation.
You?
No, I'm having a hip replacement and they won't let me walk that day.
Okay. You'll be walking the next day. You'll be walking the next day. But anyway,
But they did, I think they moved it to it's either I think it's the 5th of next month. They have public service meeting.
yeah, we'll have code enforcement as well, but we really have to be, our approach needs to be more aggressive. Things are really getting out of hand now, so we'll have code enforcement as well. Okay. That's it.
All right. Councilman Harmon?
Thank you, Madam President. Saturday morning, I was trying to sleep, but we had the Tom Mills walk and around and about the old high school. And the first person I approached, perspiring pretty heavily. Our Uncle Mayor, I think he made the distance, but the water was running. I think he poured water on us. But he was perspiring. And our councilperson, Sistrum, I'm certain he ran the whole way. His cap on backwards and fully participating. I tried, but I couldn't make it. You know why. Our zoning board chairman, Mr. Billy Ward, the spouse of our president, Ms. Judy Ward, was actively involved. I mention these names because the people seem to react and they love to see the legislators in our community, people there involved. There were many from City Hall. I know, let me see, our EMTs were there on duty. Again, our policemen were there. And the director, Mr. Tom Miller, asked, what can we do to get more community people involved? So we may have some races at the field. The field will be still at that state, possibly next year. Some short races to bring out more of the community people. It was a worthwhile cause. And Mayor, thank you. I know you had a busy day. I know I did 3 or 4 events there at the Recreation Center, then back to my church, and I think it was Woodland Avenue at 5:30. Busy day, but yeah, I'm going to shut up, Mayor, so.
I mean, I just want to add to that. In remembrance of Aretha Franklin, we warmed up with one of her songs, Rock Steady. And I was ready to leave after that.
It's still my stuff, right?
We had a lot of fun. Really a lot of fun.
Lovely event, delicious snacks. If you
Yeah.
Wanted to look, eat watermelon, some good things. But it was a great event, and I certainly think it's worthwhile to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Sistrum?
That's all it's been said.
Good evening, thanks for coming out. More the words of Aretha Franklin, like the mayor just said, rock steady. Thank you.
Councilman Swan?
No comment.
Okay. Councilman Allen?
Chief, I just want to say, keep up the fantastic work that you and the department are doing. You're making us all proud up here, and the streets, they'll be safe one day. That they're getting there, and with your guidance, we couldn't have a better chief. And I know I'm proud, and I know everybody else up here is proud, so keep up the good work.
I appreciate that, I'll be ready to go check as soon as.
And thanks for everybody coming out tonight, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Councilman Scott?
Stole my thunder. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, and I really would like to say to the chief that he's doing a great job making Pleasantville a lot safer. And just keep up the good work, and everybody have a blessed day.
Okay. I just say ditto, everything that's been said. Everyone have a good evening. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'd like I'd like to have a motion to adjourn. If there's nothing else, okay, all those in favor?
Hey, Chief,